Hello, everybody. All right, let me make sure this is all set. I think we are good. All right, guys, welcome back to the Making Sense of a Healthy Life group. For those of you guys who are new, I'm Jess Rowe. I am the host of this group, and I am here to really help you just consistently start taking care of yourself, really start making sense of the healthy life that is right for you. So today I really wanted to share a quick 2-for-1, really. We're going to talk about, hello, lovely. Thank you for joining. If you guys are here, say hi and let me know how you're doing. How are you feeling? Are you getting ready to celebrate the holidays? All that fun stuff. Today I just wanted to quickly share the two biggest mistakes that I always see people making when they are trying to get back to exercising, and 4 tips to help you actually successfully get back to exercising and be consistent about it, because consistency is probably the number one thing I see you guys saying that you're struggling with. So yes, thank you for the hearts. Yay, I love the hearts. They're the best. I'm going to try to keep this pretty short. I'm going to be doing more videos that are short, sweet, to the point, and they are all going to be going into the guides section. So if you guys have not checked out the guide section, go in there. If you do not see a topic that you want me to talk about, please send me a message or even just drop a comment somewhere. You can even put a post in as well, and I will see that. And then I can actually plan to do topics that you really want me to cover too. All right, let's dive in. So those 2 biggest mistakes that I always see people making, and I am sure all of us, myself included, we have all done this. This is actually why I had to very carefully select my physical therapist when I realized I needed to go back to physical therapy back in, it was 2020. I think it was 2020 where I started doing that. But biggest mistake number 1 is pushing too hard. How many times, raise your hand, drop a heart, a like, whatever, if you have gone back to start exercising and 2 days in, you hurt so bad you cannot even move. Yeah. For me, that was hugely problematic because it was actually triggering a boatload of the chronic pain issues that I have because of my hypermobility disorder. So it's pushing too hard sucks enough as it is when you have a normal body. Because then you can't be consistent, right? You don't enjoy it. Yep, definitely been there, right, Emily? Totally. We've all of us have done it. And that's one of my biggest beefs with the health and fitness industry is I actually have a post coming. I had to sit with it for a little while. It triggered me so bad. I was at the gym 2 days ago, but watching this personal trainer, and I can overhear the conversations, of course, and this personal trainer, it was his first session with this little old lady, and he's just pushing her and pushing her and pushing her, and she's just she's got this deer in the headlights kind of look, and he's oh no, you're fine, you're gonna feel so great. And I was just what are you doing? You're going to break this poor woman. You are going to give her this horrific experience with exercise. And she's coming to you because she wants a professional who understands bodies to help her move her body so she can, age gracefully and not fall and break a hip. And you're over here being yeah, 5 more seconds. Yeah, hold it. And I was oh, this is why I will never hire a personal trainer again. So anyway, thank you. Rant. Okay, obviously I still need to sit with this topic for a little bit before I actually write the post. Otherwise it's just going to be this is why all personal trainers suck. Okay, releasing. All right, guys. So anyhow, he totally treated her like a bro. Oh my gosh, exactly. It's and this is I was even guilty of doing this as a personal trainer because that's just the culture that personal trainers are taught. That's the culture that exists in gyms. And the reason why I'm really bringing this up now is because that's actually a humongous mistake. And it is hands down the reason why so many people end up coming to me to be but I hate exercise, but I don't want it to hurt. And they've all had these traumatic experiences with exercise. And I'm yes, that's because that's mistake number 1 is you actually pushed way too hard. So there you go. Mistake number one is don't push so hard, right? And that's something that we can always talk about too. And I'll be giving you a few tips here in a sec. So biggest mistake number one is pushing too hard when you are first getting back to it. So you're like in pain and don't enjoy it, right? Number two is setting unrealistic expectations. So that's part of what makes people push too hard, right? Is they're like, I have to complete this workout. This is what I have to do. Otherwise it doesn't count. And I really want to challenge that one. So it's both like the expectations on what your body should be able to do, and also this expectation on what actually counts as doing exercise, as being consistent. So having that unrealistic expectation really sets you up for failure, both in terms of pushing too hard, but then also not even giving yourself credit where credit is due. It's like, if you got up and exercised at all, you need to be celebrating that. And that's actually going to be one of the tips that I talk about here in a sec. Yes. Yeah. What your body should be able to do. And that's another one. I think I'm going to have to write this down, the shoulds, because that's another one I could go off on forever. And it's interesting because I've been hearing so many people say, I should be able to do this, right? And I shared a post a little while back, like earlier in the week, from one of my friends who was really addressing that. And that's when people say that phrase, I should be able to, it's actually really minimizing their whole experience. So I'll do another training on that whole topic later too, because that's a big one. But just be mindful for starters. Like if you are saying things like, I should be able to do this, I should be able to do this workout, I should be able to do it in this amount of time, I should be able to run this far, I should, right? Those are all, it's a really good sign that you're actually setting yourself up for failure with those unrealistic expectations. So on that note, let's talk really quick about those 4 tips. Yeah, right? Tips, 4 tips. My brain's broken again. My 4 tips for how you can successfully get back to exercising, avoid these 2 mistakes, right? And then actually do it consistently. So number 1 is your only goal should be to exercise. And I'll explain that one. So every time I see people, especially as we're getting into the new year, people are like, oh, I'm going to have this plan and I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow it. And that's actually what really sets everyone up for failure, right? Because you get like a week or 2 in and your body is just like, this is so intense. I was not prepared for this. I can't keep going. And so then you just stop because, again, unrealistic expectations. If you can't do the entire workout that day, you basically punish yourself by refusing to do any of it. And then you let the guilt build up and the frustration. You fall off the wagon. You're like, whatever, I'll do it again later, right? And that's so frustrating. And it's so, it was just the worst experience. And I know I watch people every year go through this. I've been through it myself. It sucks and it's totally unnecessary. So that is why my tip number 1 for you is don't have those kind of plans. Literally, if you want to get back to exercising and do it consistently, the only goal that you want to start with, say for the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks, maybe the first month, like it kind of depends on you, but literally your first goal for sure the first week should only be to move in whatever way feels right for you on that day. Like no plan other than I've set this commitment, I'm going to move my body and I'm gonna just do whatever feels good. That way you are not forcing yourself to try to stick to this totally unrealistic plan that's actually not sustainable and not enjoyable for you either, because we've all got those traumatic experiences, right? We actually have to rewrite those traumatic experiences by having some positive ones first before we go after those crazy workouts. So, number 1, don't have any other goal besides moving, whatever it is. Building on that, tip number 2. Aim for a amount of time each day. I recommend daily if possible, because that's the fastest way to build a habit. That's the fastest way to get consistent versus if you're only doing it 3 times a week or something, it can feel very inconsistent. So I recommend daily, and building on that is keeping the time short. So tip number 2 is actually doing it daily for an amount of time that you are 100% confident you can do, even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes. The reason being, of course, 1, because we want you to actually build a consistent routine, and you're more able to do that if you're doing it every day. You're also better able to troubleshoot it. And if you stick with an amount of time that you are 100% confident, this breaks from the 90 to 100% confidence rule I normally recommend. On this one, 100% confidence, because most people have such a long history of always setting those unrealistic expectations. So I want to make sure that we are setting you up for total success. So if you are like, I am 100% confident I can do something for 5 minutes, perfect. Go do it. Go do it every single day, and then we can build from there. But we want to get you that confidence and that excitement and that self-trust building, because you've actually done it every day for the last 5 days, and you did 5 minutes, and you're like, oh my God, I can do it. Yes. So that's tip number 2, daily and for a set amount of time that you're 100% confident you can do. And then, again, this is kind of similar to tip number 1. Tip number 1 is you don't have any other goals. And tip number 3 is going to be just move in whatever way feels good to you or sounds good on that day. So I guess 1 and 3 are kind of similar. But the reason I say this one is because, again, you really want to have the flexibility to just do what feels good, because we really do want you coming out of this with a very positive experience with movement/exercise. So again, like, it doesn't need to be hardcore exercise. It could be putting on some music and dancing around your living room for 5 minutes. It could be going for a quick walk around the block for 5-10 minutes, however long. But it needs to be something that feels good. If you're like, yeah, I want to try some yoga. Okay, cool. YouTube has a billion yoga channels. I can even drop a few of my favorites. And if you have some favorites as well, please do drop them. I'll also drop the link for my channel where I actually have some workouts and stuff. But anyway, like, you just want to keep it super simple. Be like, okay, I feel like doing some yoga. I'll go Google a YouTube video real quick, and I'll do however long. Right? And a lot of times, even when you say, okay, I'm only going to do 5 minutes, a lot of times as soon as you clear that 5-minute mark, your body's like, no, this feels really good. Let's keep going. So it's good. But that was a big one. Actually, one of my clients realized, she was like, when I have a plan to stick to, I'm really likely to not follow that plan or to get those negative feelings around it. But if I simply set that intention to move that day or each day or whatever, and then allow myself to just decide in that moment what feels good, she's like so much more consistent, and 2, she's actually enjoying it so much more. So I highly recommend that. Emily, it's so great. A certain amount of time and a type of exercise that feels good. Yeah, just go with that, right? So that's tip number 3. Just move, right? And I tend to talk about movement versus exercise because, when I say exercise, you probably think of like one of those boot camp classes or something. And movement in general also counts. So like I said, go for a walk, yoga, dance, whatever sounds good. Okay. All movement counts. As long as your butt is not sitting in a chair, it pretty much counts. Standing doesn't though. Okay. And tip number 4 is, I can say it in 2 different ways. 1, absolutely refuse to minimize what you do, and completely commit to celebrate what you do. I hope that one makes sense. Really, you want to just commit to only celebrating what you do. Do not try to minimize it and be like, yeah, but I should have done more. I could have gone longer. No, none of that. Just be like, I said I was going to do 5 minutes and I did it, and I'm proud of myself and I'm celebrating that in some way, right? Or maybe you said you're going to do 5 minutes and hey, you did 10 minutes. Like, yes, celebrate the heck out of that instead of being like, yeah, I mean, I did 10 minutes, but I probably could have gone longer. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Just give yourself that joy to celebrate, okay? So those are those 4 tips. They will truly make a world of difference in how easily you are able to get back to exercise. Generally, too, if you follow this, you will not end up crazy sore, which is always good. But then if you do overdo it, these tips really give you that flexibility to be like, okay, totally overdid it yesterday. 'Cause, I mean, it happens too. Like, you get into it, you're enjoying it, and it's not until a day or 2 later where your body is like, yeah, that was a little too much, sorry. And so then you have the flexibility to be like, okay, I don't have a plan I have to follow. I don't feel like I have to force myself to go do this other strength training workout when I'm too sore. So maybe today I'm just going to focus on stretching and it's going to be wonderful. Yay! So it gives you a lot of flexibility. It removes those 2 mistakes that I see everyone making, and it really does set you up for success. So let me know in the comments if this is helpful. Let me know how you're going to go apply it. And then I will be checking back in with you later with some more tips. So let me know too. If I didn't answer any questions, drop them here. And then come back and let me know how this goes for you. So yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for watching, Emily. I hope you have a beautiful day and go enjoy some movement. Go enjoy preparing for the holidays, and I will see you all soon. Bye.